Chapter 2. Flicker of Trust. The sunlight poured through the mouth of the cave, spilling across Golden's skin like liquid fire. She stepped into it slowly. Her chest rose and fell, breath caught between fear and wonder, lips parting as the warmth kissed her face. The light didn't burn, it welcomed her, embraced her. Her arms shimmered, gold traced beneath her skin, soft and radiant, not blinding but alive, like embers glowing under ash. It followed the delicate map of her veins, gathered in the hollow of her throat. Every heartbeat sent a pulse of light through her body. For a moment, she forgot how to breathe. What is this?" she whispered. Golden turned her hand slowly, searching for a trick, a reflection, anything that could explain it. But the glow only answered her curiosity by shining brighter. Her heart pounded. Was this what her mother had feared? Was this the power she had warned her about in half-remembered dreams? A low growl sliced through the quiet. "Siruna." Golden turned. The dire wolf stood at the edge of the sunlight, massive and still. The same wolf that had curled beside her in the dark now stared as though Golden were something other. Golden stumbled into the shade. Shadows swallowed the gold, leaving only gold specks across her skin. Siruna didn't follow. The dire wolf remained frozen at the edge of the glow, her massive body rigid, one gold eye blazing, the other black as the void. Her lips peeled back slowly, revealing rows of glistening teeth. Not a warning, a verdict. A low growl rolled from her chest, vibrating through the stone beneath Golden's feet. Golden's breath hitched. Every instinct screamed run, but she didn't. Instead, she lifted her trembling hands, palms open, not in defense, but in surrender. "Siruna, please," she whispered, voice breaking. "I don't know what's happening either." The light beneath her skin flickered like, unstable. For the first time since she woke on that shore, Golden didn't feel chosen. She felt dangerous and Siruna knew it. The wolf took a slow step forward. Not toward Golden but toward the darkness where the glow was weakest. Siruna didn't lunge, but she didn't relax either. Slowly, the wolf lowered her head, muscles tense, watching Golden the way a predator watches prey it doesn't want to hurt, yet. A soft rustle echoed from deeper in the cave. Golden turned. Onyx stood at the edge of the hot spring, water dripping from his skin, black eyes fixed on her. The light had shaken him free of whatever daze the mushrooms had put him in. Now fully present, Onyx saw the truth. The glow was coming from her. His eyes narrowed, registering the panic on Golden's face. Her breathing was shallow, chest rising and falling with the rhythm of fear. The harder her heart pounded, the brighter her skin pulsed. If he didn't calm her down, she might burst into a full beam of light. He stepped from the water quickly, voice steady. "Siruna, we've seen this before. If we want to avoid disaster, we have to help her." The wolf immediately snapped to his side, ears forward, loyal and protective. Together, they stepped toward Golden, but before they could reach her, a deep explosion thundered in the distance. Golden flinched. Onyx froze, breath catching. For a moment, he thought the explosion had come from her. But no. Golden's face hardened. There was something bigger happening, something beyond the mystery of her skin. She couldn't afford to fall apart over the light beaming from her pores. "Golden," Onyx called out, "they found us. That means they're getting closer to the kingdom. If we want to protect it, we need warriors, now. If they take the beach and set up camp, we've already lost." Golden's thoughts flashed with images of ships, chains, screams. Onyx's jaw tensed as the same haunting visions gripped him again. He extended a hand. "Do you trust me?" Golden looked into his deep, dark eyes. They were nothing like the hazel eyes she remembered from someone in her past, someone she once loved. But somehow, she still felt safe with him. Another explosion echoed nearby. She didn't have a choice. She grabbed his hand. Branches tore at Golden's gown as Siruna thundered ahead, a blur of white and muscle. The hidden cove burst open before them, moonlight glinting off dark water. Siruna lunged for the rope, teeth snapping as she ripped it loose. Onyx shoved the boat forward, muscles straining as it scraped against stone and slid into the tide. "Get in," he snapped. Golden leapt aboard just as the current caught it, the water pulling them away from the rocks. For a heartbeat, none of them spoke. Only the sound of waves, and Golden's ragged breathing. The cave loomed behind them, dark and watching. Golden gripped the edge of the boat, knuckles white, forcing air back into her lungs. That was when she saw it. Out on the horizon, barely visible through the mist, a shadow cut across the water. She thought it could be a ship but didn't want to believe it. She turned to Siruna to see if she noticed the same thing, but she was too focused on the hidden moon. My mother used to tell me stories, she murmured, eyes locked on the distant shape, about boats bigger than pirate ships. Yeah, I've seen them, Onyx replied grimly. How? She asked. I lived on the western beach Tidegate coast. Our tribe actually lived on the beach and not in He City. Our whole purpose was to protect the city, which meant protecting the palace since the city leads straight to the castle. We were the first to be hit. The Mzunga knew exactly where to hurt the palace most. They rushed us in our sleep, captured our women, killed most of our men. I managed to get my mother and sister to safety, but they were taken while I was out looking for food. When I returned, I could still hear their screams, getting farther away. I ran after them, but Siruna stopped me. I fought her, until I finally heard what my mother had been screaming. He paused, glancing up at the moon now peeking through the clouds. Golden pet Siruna gently. What did she say? She said, bring balance to the glow. Golden blinked. What is that supposed to mean? Siruna suddenly perked up, eyes locked on the moon as if in silent communication. She began pacing the boat eagerly, waiting. Golden laughed softly. Siruna's excitement was contagious. She looked at Onyx, who chuckled along with her, until his expression changed. That's when he spotted something in the distance. Golden followed his gaze and knew exactly what he discovered. A massive ship loomed on the horizon. It's the same kind of ship that took my family, Onyx said, lowering himself slowly. Siruna didn't care about the ship. Her eyes were still fixed on the moon. Siruna, don't, Onyx warned, pushing her gently down. Siruna growled, snapping at his hand. Get down, he snarled. Siruna obeyed, but not quietly. She howled and barked at him. You blow our cover, we all get captured. Then what? Be patient. Guys, look, Golden pointed. We're coming up on more land. We officially reached Tidegate, Onyx confirmed. They must still be trying to breach the city gates. That means my mother and sister is still on the ship. He rowed harder, navigating the boat toward shore. He was focused on getting his family back but realized Siruna or Golden wasn't focused at all. Siruna was always at his side ready on his command, but right now she was too distracted by the full moon. He looked at Golden, who tugged at her wolf necklace anxiously. Onyx knew he had to get his team together if this mission was going to be successful. Golden stared into the black water below and went suddenly still. Her face drained of color. Onyx glanced over. Don't tell me you're seasick already? Your mother is the infamous Aura. No. She shook her head, not understanding the reference to her mother. I can't believe this day. I tore into a fish with my bare teeth. Helped a wolf kill a bear. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Who am I? The princess, Onyx said casually, eyes drifting toward the water. Golden turned sharply. I don't even know what that means. How am I supposed to get a throne I can't even remember back? He tilted his head toward her arm. The bracelet, we were blessed with a power no one else has. Before she could press him, he leaned over the edge of the boat, fingers trailing just above the surface. The water responded, not violently, not obviously, just a gentle pull, as if the sea itself leaned toward him. A small ripple occurred, then another. Golden watched, confused, as something pale rose slowly from beneath the waves. A tiny sea turtle broke the surface, blinking beneath the moonlight. Golden gasped. Onyx, he scooped it up carefully, cradling it in his palms. The baby turtle peeked its head out, warm and alive in his hands. Even Siruna softened, tail thumping against the side of the boat as she leaned close to sniff it. He handed it off to Golden. Golden stroked the turtle's shell, breathing slowing for the first time since the cave. It's so small, she whispered. So gentle. Onyx watched her more than the turtle. Everything doesn't have to be war, he said quietly. Sometimes the sea gives you something just to remind you why you fight. Something so little is a part of Glovera. The trees they are burning, the air they are polluting, the people they are taking. They all need us. After a moment, Golden lowered the turtle back into the water. It paddled once, twice, then vanished into the dark. But the tension in her chest went with it. For just a little while, the glow inside her felt less like a curse, and more like a promise. Onyx had Golden's attention now. He said, when he spoke of the glow, of the power. Was he capable of the same things she were? Suddenly, Siruna growled low. They were close to the land. Siruna, guard the boat, Onyx ordered. I can handle the scouts. He slid into the water silently and crept to the land, crouching low in the brush. The first foreign soldier passed. Onyx pounced with deadly precision, taking him down. Two more men rushed toward the noise, but Onyx danced between them with fluid, brutal speed. Martial arts met brute strength in a graceful display of violence. Golden reached for a spear, but Siruna blocked her with her body, warning her to stay seated. More men fell. One by one, Onyx dropped them, until scattered bodies littered the beach. His chest rose and fell steadily, the moon casting silver light across his soaked skin. He looked up, grinning. Golden returned his smile, thoroughly impressed. Their eyes locked as their smile became more flirtatious. And for a moment, in that tension between battle and breath, something warm passed between them. Onyx wiped his blade on a fallen man's shirt before tossing it aside. He glanced back at the boat, silently signaling that the beach was clear. Golden stood, careful to step around Siruna. The wolf didn't block her this time, just walked beside her, ears twitching, ever alert. As they walked up the shore, Golden couldn't take her eyes off the battlefield. The men he had taken down weren't just beaten, they were completely outmatched. She'd never seen anyone fight like that. There was something otherworldly in his movements, like he knew every motion before it happened. "You fight like it's a second language," she said quietly. Onyx chuckled. "Maybe it is." Golden kept her voice low. "What were they doing here? Just scouting? I thought they would all be trying to get through the city's gates." "Right," he agreed, frowning. "Scouts don't travel this deep. They were setting up, clearing ground for something bigger." He knelt, touching the dirt. Fresh boot tracks led farther into the trees. "They've already passed through here. A whole unit." Golden's brows furrowed. "Then they're close to the Sun Harbor gates already." Onyx nodded. "Which means we don't have much time." Golden's gaze drifted to the moon above, fully visible now, its pale glow resting gently on the treetops. Her skin tingled faintly again, like the sunlight had left a spark behind. She wondered if the moon would ever make her glow the same way. As the night began to illuminate, she followed the light that revealed Onyx's now glowing skin. There was that charming smile again. "I guess we have a few things in common," Onyx said, stepping fully into the moonlight to reveal his power. "You can start a fire with that flame inside you if you trust in me and let me show you some things. More importantly, you have to trust in yourself." "We should move," Golden said, wanting to avoid the weird things that was happening. At this point she figured this was one big dream and she was really tucked in her bed safely. Onyx agreed, not pushing her to learn more just yet. It wasn't wise to frighten her. "We'll pass through the town of Sun Harbor. Maybe recruit a few fighters, if any are left." They started toward the trees, moving quietly beneath the thick canopy. Siruna led, nose low to the ground, tail twitching at every movement in the distance. Golden was itching with questions. She didn't want to face reality, but the questions began pouring, so she decided to break the silence. "That thing your mother said, about bringing balance to the glow. What do you think she meant?" Onyx didn't answer right away. He walked in silence for a few paces before finally speaking. "I'm starting to think we are the balance if you accept it." Golden nodded slowly, unsure if that comforted or terrified her. Their eyes met again, hers flickering with questions, his steady as rock. She looked away first, her breath catching on emotions she didn't have names for. "Where do you think I come from?" she asked quietly. He tilted his head. "The palace of Lumora, of course. You are the only heir of the king since the queen never bore children." "So my mother isn't the queen?" Golden asked, confused. The king had a known mistress that he moved to the palace as a worker. Put her into a cottage with a big garden. She handled making medicines and healing the sick, but also oversaw recipes in the kitchen, the children's education, the close combat fighting styles. It was a no-brainer that Aura was the real one that King Nico loved. Onyx explained. "King Nico?" Golden whispered, trying hard to remember. "I've met Aura. She always had business with my mother, Cimmerian. Never met you though. The king didn't let you leave the palace," Onyx said. Deep in thought, Golden traced the moon and star glyphs on the armband. "What if I'm not who I used to be?" she asked. "What if I never get my memory back?" Onyx smirked faintly. "Then maybe that's a good thing. We can build you better, stronger. In days to come you will be queen. We don't need some sheltered little girl." Siruna suddenly stopped in her tracks, body tense. The three of them ducked behind a large stone as voices approached, two men, speaking in low, unfamiliar tones. The language wasn't native. Golden didn't recognize the cadence or rhythm, but Onyx did. "Mazunga," he whispered, "same as the ones who took my village." The men passed by only feet away. One of them held a glowing orb, a stone, that pulsed every few seconds with a dark, violet light. "What is that?" she asked. "A tracker," Onyx muttered. "Magic driven. They're looking for something, or someone." Golden shrunk deeper into the shadows, pulling Onyx with her, not wanting to expose his glow. Her heart was pounding again, but she held it back, held the light in, forced it to stay quiet. She thought of the palace garden, of her mother's voice, the love she longed to get back to. The glow obeyed. Onyx wrapped them in the magic fur cloak from Noctsola rainforest, knowing it would hide them from the tracker. He wanted the men to find the fallen soldiers on the beach. This would send a powerful message to the Mzungu that they would not bow or easily be defeated. The men moved on. Onyx waited until they were out of earshot, then helped Golden to her feet. "You did good," he said softly. Golden exhaled shakily. "I think I'm starting to control it." Onyx smiled. "Don't suppress it. At night you won't glow, so you can be as fierce as you want. I'm the glowing one while the moon is present, but I'm learning how to control it along with the powers it comes with, like my ability to control the tides. You need to be cautious in the sun for now. If you panic, I'm afraid you could cause a solar flare." Siruna nudged them forward, her growl barely restrained now. Golden tightened her necklace and stepped out of the shadows, still cloaked with the others. After traveling through the night, they finally reached the outskirts of Sun Harbor. Even before they reached the gates, Golden could feel the dread vibrating through the stones beneath her feet. Siruna led them toward a narrow break in the cliffs. An ancient tunnel waited there, hidden behind thorned vines and collapsed rock. The moment Golden stepped inside, her armband pulsed. Moon and sun glyphs glowed faintly, echoing the markings carved deep into the walls. The same symbols shimmered along Onyx's crescent staff. "Do you feel that?" Onyx whispered, breathing of the same rhythm as the tunnel. "I do. Where are we?" She whispered in awe. "A tunnel carved by our ancestors," he said, voice hushed but urgent. "Only the king's soldiers and trusted trade runners know of it. My mother, my sister, your mother, our bloodline was chosen." Golden took a second to take this all in. She followed the glowing roots to the end of the tunnel in amazement. At the tunnel's end, a rusted hatch blocked their way. A single symbol was carved into the metal, a half-sun wrapped around a crescent moon. Onyx raised his staff and touched the crescent to the marking. The glyphs flared, the metal groaned, then unlocked itself. As the hatch lifted, heat, smoke, and screaming poured down into the ancient dark. They climbed up into chaos. They emerged beneath a torn canopy once meant for market stalls. Above them, the city stretched, tall stone buildings, cloth banners fluttering in the breeze, and pedestrians running for cover. Mothers screamed for their children. Vendors abandoned their carts. A soldier banged on a bell with his shield, sounding the alert. But when a few citizens caught sight of Onyx, they stopped. "It's him," a woman whispered. "Moonborn," an old man muttered, dropping to one knee. Onyx nodded once, firm but calm. "Get to shelter. Those who can't fight, protect the children. Everyone else, report to the east wall." Siruna wove through the streets like a white storm, her massive form herding frightened animals away from the fires, nudging trembling horses back toward their stables, pressing her body between danger and anything too small to fight. Golden gathered the children, kneeling to meet their eyes as her gentle glow steadied their shaking bodies and quieted their cries, offering them something solid to cling to when everything else felt like it was falling apart. Onyx searched for the leader Fenrir until someone shared he was murdered in his sleep. There was no time to process the words. He took the responsibility of leading the city quickly. Onyx grabbed Golden and took her up the spiral steps. Before they reached the archers, they paused. "You're glowing, you know," Onyx said, brushing his hands up her skin. "I guess it's my time to shine," Golden joked. Onyx gave a slight smile but nodded in agreement. Golden knew that meant it was her turn to protect. At the battlements, archers prepared their bows, hands shaking. A few turned at the sound of footsteps. "You're in charge now?" one soldier scoffed. Onyx stepped into the archer's line of sight. "If you'd rather wait for the gates to fall, be my guest." Silence fell on the archers as they waited for their leader's response. The soldier looked away and muttered, "Give the order." Onyx turned to Golden. "Don't stop the tingly feeling," he said, stepping behind her. "Focus it." She blinked. "How?" He reached around her, steadying her hands in his. "Breathe. Let that warm feeling burn hotter." Her skin brightened but flickered. She could feel the heat bloom in her palms as the small flame flickered more wildly now. "Good," Onyx said, his voice low. "Don't force it, offer it to your archers." Golden held her hands toward the crate of arrows nearby. One by one, their tips lit with golden fire. The archers stared, frozen in awe, their fear momentarily forgotten. Onyx nodded to them. "Loose," he commanded. Flaming arrows streaked over the city wall, arching toward the army of Mzunga below. Explosions of heat lit the shoreline. Screams echoed through the valley, but gunfire was returned with the enemy still pushing forward. More ships cut through the waves. More soldiers poured onto the sand, their dark shapes multiplying beneath the burning sky. Onyx scanned the shoreline in a single sharp sweep. "Shield wall," he roared, his voice cutting through the chaos. "Front line, lock now." Sunharbor's soldiers moved on instinct, steel snapping into place as shields slammed together, forming a solid wall. Bullets struck against it moments later, splintering harmlessly but not piercing through. "Archers, hold," Onyx commanded. "Wait for my mark." Golden felt the light inside her surge out of control, flooding her veins like wildfire. Heat burst from her palms in erratic flares, scorching the air around her. "I cannot hold it," she gasped. "It is too much." Onyx was beside her in an instant, his chest at her back, his hands steadying hers. "Breathe," he murmured. "Do not fight it. You are not meant to cage the light. You are the light, Golden." Below them, the shield wall groaned as more bullets struck. "Now," Onyx shouted. "Loose." A second wave of flaming arrows tore through the air, crashing into the advancing Mzungu, driving them back. Golden trembled. "I am losing it." "No," Onyx said softly, his voice only for her now. "You are learning it. Let it move through you, not against you. Think of who you are standing for." Golden closed her eyes. She felt Sunharbor beneath her feet, the children she had held, the frightened faces now looking up to her. She felt Siruna's fierce loyalty and Aura's memory burning like a sun in her chest. This time, the light did not lash out. It rose. A single vast stream of fire spiraled from her hands, slow and deliberate, curling like a living ribbon through the air before crashing into the beach and unfolding into a towering wall of radiant heat. Onyx watched it with fierce approval. "That's it," he said, giving praise. The Mzungu froze as the flames soared, forcing them back step by step until their ranks buckled and their courage broke. "Retreat," someone screamed. "Retreat." From the battlements, Sunharbor watched the enemy flee beneath a sky lit by living fire. The archers stood in stunned silence as the glow bathed the city in warm, impossible light. Golden stood at the center of it all, breathing hard, her skin burning like dawn, no longer afraid. Onyx stood at her side, calm amid the storm, having not only led the city, but awakened its queen. In that moment, she was no longer just a girl who had washed ashore. She was the heir of the sun. Cheers erupted behind them as Siruna ran up and licked them both. Civilians ran toward the abandoned armory, wanting to be a part of the victory. They wanted to fight beside the soon-to-be queen and the fierce warrior. A blacksmith threw open his doors, handing out hammers and metal scraps. Teenagers strapped on dented chest plates. Elders sharpened blades. Even the priestesses from the temple arrived, bows slung over shoulders, prayers in their mouths. They were tired and terrified, but Onyx and Golden together instilled enough confidence for them to push forward. The city was ready. "We follow the glow," someone yelled. "Lead us," another cried. "We strike first," Onyx yelled. "While they're still afraid, we rush the beach, taking it back before they regroup." He rallied. The city continued to prepare, fitting armor, whispering prayers, sharpening steel in the torchlit gloom. But up on the ridge, where the cliffs met the sky, Onyx and Golden stood alone. The ocean below churned in angry waves. The torches flickering around the city wall were distant now, just golden specks against a restless sea. Far ahead, the huge Mzunga ship became more into sight. You could still hear their commands, muffled yells, clanging shields, and distant war drums pounding like a second heartbeat. Golden stood near the edge, her eyes fixed on the approaching enemy. "We have the glow, we have our army. We have each other," Onyx confirmed. Golden smiled at what they accomplished so far. Onyx stepped beside her and looked out across the valley, formulating more plans in his mind. She finally broke the silence. "I didn't know I could do any of that, the flame. What if I lose control, maybe at the wrong time? I could really hurt someone." Onyx turned to her, grabbing her hands in his. "Then I'll bring you back," he reassured. "Every time." Golden looked away quickly, biting back a smile. The wind curled around them like it was trying to bring them even closer than what they already were. "How symbolic," he said, avoiding reaching a moment they couldn't grasp. Sun and moon both glowing in the same sky, both refusing to fade, working together. His words lingered. "Do you think we can win? Not just against the Mzungu but against the false queen?" she asked. Onyx stepped one step closer, not touching her, but close enough she could feel the heat of him. "Stay close to me no matter what, and I promise I will always protect you." Before either of them could speak again, Siruna darted past, jumping off the cliff. Siruna! Onyx yelled, heart lurching. He sprinted to the edge, breath catching just in time to see her vanish over it. A splash echoed below as the air left his lungs. He scanned the water frantically, until a shape broke the surface in a dazzling splash. Siruna? But she was no longer a dire wolf. Where fur once cloaked muscle, there was now luminous skin. Her gold and black eyes remained the same, full of wild intelligence, but her limbs had shifted, front paws now arms and hands, hind legs replaced by a long, powerful tail covered in shimmering scales. And fins. Siruna flipped gracefully through the waves, her silver fin slicing the ocean with ease. Her long, flowing white hair flew elegantly in the waves. She surfaced for a moment, locking eyes with Onyx from the sea below. Her expression was peaceful, then she smiled, disappearing in the current.